The pain, the hurt, the trauma doesn't end when the war ends. It's lifelong, and it gets passed on to succeeding generations too. I had an awareness that he'd been a prisoner, and I understood what prisoner was, but I had no comprehension of what his actual experience was.
Dad didn't speak about it that much. We knew he'd been in the war, and we knew he'd been a prisoner because a couple of us found his Grim Glory book when we were still quite young. So we knew he'd been a prisoner. We knew it affected his mood from time to time.
The way that I experienced the consequences of his being a prisoner of war was that he was an incredibly heavy drinker. He found company difficult to be with unless it was with other prisoners of war. So he found it quite frequently difficult to be with us kids. That lessened as the years went by, but in those very early years he would radiate menace to keep us away. And kind of, I copped it the first. I can still see the face that he would put on, and it was very scary. And I was still having nightmares about that face well into my 50s. He and I never had what you'd call a conversation about it. I think that the main reason he kept it to himself, it was just too bloody painful for him to kind of recollect it. It frustrates me and disappoints me that I didn't make an effort to get him to talk.
One day in 1992, Dad said there's a box of things in the cupboard, you might like to have a look at it. And that was the contents, his relics from World War II. It was quite intriguing to see all of that. I think it is important, but I think it's also important for people to move on. Yeah, not to hang on to the past too much. We've got to let go of the past. I mean, it was more than 60 years ago now.
Had I known earlier in my life, I would have comprehended things better and understood him better, would have had a good rapport with him, and that saddens me a lot. You peel all that crap away, he was a great bloke, but the occasions when I experienced him as a great bloke and a great dad were very, very rare, and I don't blame him for that, but I do blame the war.